Welcome to our mock interview preparation guide for aspiring instructional coaches. In this video, we're here to help you shine in your upcoming interview by tackling some common questions you might face. Let's dive right in and start with a question about giving constructive feedback to teachers. Can you share an experience where you gave constructive feedback to a teacher? How did they take it and what was the result? This question is designed to assess your ability to provide feedback in a supportive way and to see how effectively you can inspire positive changes. Let's talk about some strategies for crafting your answer. Choose a particular instance that highlights your approach to feedback. Always start with the positives before diving into areas of improvement. Clearly communicate your feedback, focusing on ways they can grow. Describe the teacher's reaction, especially their willingness to embrace the feedback. Finish with the successful outcome and any noticeable improvements. Now, here's an example of how you might respond.
During a lesson observation, I noticed a teacher's instructions were confusing, which led to student misunderstandings. I began by commending their enthusiasm and then suggested incorporating visual aids for clarity. The teacher was open to my feedback, made the changes, and I observed a notable boost in student engagement in the following lessons.
By the way, we're only covering a handful of questions in this video, but I've prepared a free PDF with all 30 top interview questions for Instructional Coach. It also includes example answers and tips to help you prepare with confidence. The download link is just below. Let's discuss a time when you successfully collaborated with a team of teachers. What role did you play, and what did you achieve together? This question aims to gauge your ability to work well with others and see how your contributions can lead to successful outcomes. Here are some pointers to help frame your response. Pick a project or initiative where teamwork was crucial. Outline your specific role and how you contributed to the team. Emphasize the achievements of the team, particularly those benefiting students. Use concrete results or feedback to highlight the success. Reflect on the experience and what you learned from it. Let's look at an example to illustrate this.
In a recent professional development project, I worked with a team of 5 teachers to weave technology into our curriculum. I led workshops on EdTech tools, and we saw a 30% increase in student engagement based on feedback surveys.
Can you describe a professional development session you organized? What hurdles did you encounter, and how did you tackle them? This question is intended to assess your ability to plan, execute, and adapt during professional development initiatives. Let's explore some tips to help you answer this question. Select a specific session you've organized. Identify at least 2 challenges you faced during the process. Explain the strategies you employed to overcome these obstacles. Point out the positive outcomes from the session. Consider what you learned from the experience as a whole. Here's an example of how you might convey this.
I organized a workshop on differentiated instruction for teachers. Initially, we had low registration, so I personally reached out to colleagues to emphasize the session's benefits, resulting in full attendance. We received excellent feedback and sparked more interest in future sessions.
Imagine a teacher disagrees with your feedback on their teaching methods. How would you handle that situation? This question focuses on your conflict resolution skills and how you manage disagreements professionally. Let's cover some strategies for handling this scenario. Listen actively to the teacher's concerns without interrupting. Acknowledge their viewpoint and validate their feelings. Encourage open dialogue to understand their perspective better. Provide evidence or reasons for your feedback in a respectful manner. Aim for collaboration to support their growth as an educator. Here's how you might approach this in an interview.
If a teacher disagrees with my feedback, I would first invite them to express their viewpoint, ensuring they feel heard. I'd then share my observations and data that support my feedback, and we'd explore alternative approaches that align with their teaching style while achieving our educational goals.
Suppose you need to introduce a new teaching framework to the school. How would you approach this task? This question evaluates your strategic planning skills and your ability to implement change effectively. Here are some considerations for structuring your response. Start with a needs assessment to identify current practices. Engage stakeholders through meetings and workshops to gather input. Develop a clear implementation plan with timelines and support resources. Begin with a pilot program to test the framework in select classrooms. Provide ongoing training and feedback to ensure successful adoption. Let's see how you might convey this in your response.
I would begin by assessing the needs of both teachers and students to pinpoint gaps in our current system. Then, I would lead workshops to involve teachers in discussions and gather their input. Next, I'd create a detailed implementation plan, including a pilot program to gather feedback.
Before we wrap up, remember you can get all 30 questions, example answers, and step-by-step tips in a handy PDF. Totally free, just grab it below.